streaming
7 o'clock.
live. It's 7 o'clock, right? And then what else? I'm going to now start the recording. So just give me 1 second here. Record on this computer, and we are now recording also. So let me make sure. Okay. Great. All right. So I think we're all tech-wise, we're all ready to rock and roll.
Okay, with that, I will open the CPC Tuesday, September 15th meeting at 7 o'clock, the Zoom meeting. And Dan, if you would, the roll call, please.
My pleasure. Mr. Wilson is not here. Ms. Thibodeau. It looks like she's here. Okay, hi, Amanda.
She's on.
Sorry.
No problem. Ms. McClare, are you hiding out somewhere? I don't see you. Okay, you're absent. Mr. LeBlanc.
Here.
Mr. Doyle.
Present.
He's there. Mr. Creonte.
Present.
Clerk, I'm here. Ms. Oliver Durham. And you're here.
I'm here, present.
Thank you. And then Mr. Barrett.
I am present.
All right, so that gives us 7 out of 9. We have a quorum.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is the minutes from the June 19th meeting. And has everybody read them?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do we have a motion
So moved.
Second.
as presented?
Oh, that was moved by Bob.
It's good. I just want to know if they're as presented. Are there any amendments or corrections?
No.
No, I was fine with that, Justin. That was me that
Okay,
made the
all right.
motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? There are no opposition, so they are approved. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, new business, public hearings. This is a continuation. The first one is the New Light Korean Church application, which is continued from the February 11th meeting. And Joshua is here, correct?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, want to do I was the only one, I think, that was not present, and you and I have spoken. So if you just do an abbreviated a synopsis of the application, I guess.
Sure. I'll try to keep it as succinct as possible. We applied for a CPC grant back in February, and we got that. The board at that time asked us to get a little more information in terms of getting another quote from a different construction company, and they said we would review the application again the following month. But as we all know, this pandemic hit out of nowhere, so the next month has turned into 6 months later. So here we are. But in that time, unfortunate circumstances, we did get a quote from a different construction company. So we had pretty similar quotes from 2 different construction companies for our work, and they both gave us confidence that they would be able to finish it within that budget. But on June 26th, actually, on my wedding date, a piece of the steeple fell off, and the building department came and they yellow taped our building. So we weren't able to access our building until we got repairs done on it. So our hand was forced, and I think for better than not, we started construction on the steeple, and actually the scaffolding is coming down today as we're speaking. Well, as a couple hours ago, the scaffolding is coming down, but we had to go ahead and go on with the construction because otherwise we wouldn't be able to access our building. And we actually went ahead with the construction company that was listed in our first application, Capital Construction. And we're within what they quoted, on top of a little extra copper work on the very top of the steeple. But so that's what we're looking at. And because of our financial situation, our church had to request help from the EIDL, and we got a loan from them that we're having to pay back now. So that's where our church is in terms of our building and construction. Thankfully, construction went without any complications, and the construction company does have a warranty on the work that they do. So we're really grateful for them. And this is where we are. So, and I stand before you ladies and gentlemen today, hoping to get some help for our church.
Okay, I'll open it to the committee. Questions? No one has a question? I have a couple.
Sure.
When we spoke, I had asked that you get some letters of support and from the city. Have you spoken to anybody regarding that? And have we got any support from the local town father, so to speak?
Yes, Justin. Sorry. Yes. So we got a couple letters actually, and in the application I included on a separate file these letters, as well as in the application itself. We have letters from local coin club. Actually, this gentleman, he heads 2 to 3 coin clubs, and they meet in our city, in our church, every month. Obviously, this is all pre-pandemic, and we're expected to host them again once the pandemic is lifted. We host them, and we also host the Boy Scouts every year for their meeting. A couple years back, we had a funeral for one of the chiefs at the fire police department. We continue to welcome homeless citizens of Waltham for service, but also for lunch when we do serve it again pre-pandemic. And we continue to donate money to the fire and police department at the end of every year. And we also have an endorsement from Mayor McCarthy as well. Sorry, Justin.
Well, I didn't call her. What I was looking for was some kind of a letter in support. If I call her, it puts her in a position where it looks like I'm soliciting, and I'm not going to do that.
Sure.
So what I was looking for was some kind of a letter in support of it from her or from your local city councilor or councilors at large or something, or even some support. My concern is that it's great that you've got the Boy Scouts in there once a year, but the CPC is limited as to what they can do with their funds for an entity that is not doing community work. That is to say, holding not annual meetings, but monthly or weekly meetings for the citizens of the city, for the betterment of the city. I guess that's the way I can put it. That's just that's what we're about. And I noticed you got Mort, are you there?
I am.
You sent a letter I got from in support of the historical portion of it, but I'm not sure that because of the lack of community involvement that we're going to be in a place that we can do. We have done other churches, but other churches have food pantries and are open to different organizations. This is much more limited, and I feel I just don't feel comfortable, especially with some of the suits that have gone on suing back for money. Have you read any of the cases, more?
I'm aware of what you're talking about. Yeah, I can't address that side of it. I mean, obviously that's your committee's purview.
Correct. But I just wanted, my feeling is there's a group of us that are going to decide. I'm just one person, but I've got there's a responsibility going forward of how we can justify the funding. That's my concern. I would love to do it. However, there are several others on the committee that I would like to hear from, other than myself, But I want to put it out there that that's what the CPC is about. We are there for historical for sure, but it's got to be also with a church, it becomes very, very, very touchy. And that's because the separation of church and state. And if it's some of the things have been community centers affiliated with churches we funded, and things like that. So I just wanted to get that out. Anybody else have anything to say? And Josh, don't let me stop. If you have something else to say, don't let me stop you because this is an open forum.
Sure. Thank you, Justin. With all due respect, our church has been here. I mean, even before our congregation, this building has been here for hundreds of years. And I could speak for our congregation before even the pandemic hit. We've been helping out with the homeless citizens. We've been helping out with the homeless organization in the city before they closed. I think they're called CDC right behind us. And we've opened our building for them, even as going as far to provide lunch for them on Sundays. And we even have yard sales throughout the summer where we raise money for our church, but also where we donate our belongings to the community. And I understand that it is a touchy subject in terms of state and church, but we've been a big part of this community for a long, long time now. And anyone can attest to not just the historical aspect of the building, but the importance of our congregation in the city.
Okay.
Justin, Joshua, has this amount changed from your initial application?
Sorry, I missed that, Bob. I missed
Has
the last
amount
part.
you're requesting changed from your initial application?
It changed by a little bit because in the first initial meeting, we had a gentleman who said even if the amount changes after another inspection that we can put that. But the amount changed because we had a structural engineer come and check out the steeple. And we had an inspection for that, but also there was a copper work at the top of the steeple that our construction workers were able to catch while they were up on the scaffolding.
Okay. And so how much of this, what percentage of this work is done now?
It is, from what the construction workers say, we are 95%, 98, almost 100% done. We're actually taking out the scaffolding now, and the last minute installer will come to check out just a last minute thing, some cleaning and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Okay, Justin, can I say something?
Sure, please do.
Off Committee. I just wanted to, I assume everyone on the committee has seen the letter I wrote.
Yes, we have.
Today. Okay, yeah, but I want to make sure that everyone was aware of the fact that this is on the National Register of Historic Places. From a historical perspective, certainly it is one of the most historic buildings still in Waltham, certainly on Main Street. It would be a shame if it weren't able to be preserved. Now, usually when CPC funds are used for rehabilitation of a building, there's usually a preservation restriction put in, or at least the work has to be certified that it was done according to the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation of historic buildings. And so I'm not sure in this case, if you did award funds, how exactly that would work either now that because the work had to be done on an emergency basis. So I just add that to the conversation. I don't know, perhaps Joshua, you might be able to say that. I don't know how the work was done, to what standards.
Sure. As far as I know, the construction company had been in contact with the city of Waltham in terms of building code restrictions and working permits and all. That's all that they've told me, and that's all I'm aware of as of now.
Okay, yeah. So that's just a question mark. I don't know.
Sure.
What.
And that may also limit the I mean, if we were to fund it, that would have had to been done so. If it should go forward, or if we should continue it, we would have to have we would have to have that certification that it was done to Secretary of the Interior of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts standards. So that would have to be a letter certifying that to Josh, just to let you know.
Well, that's something that the Historical Commission usually does, is to inspect the work after it's done, to certify it to you that in
But
fact.
let me ask you a question.
acceptable.
But don't you use someone to verify that? You don't, I'm not gonna see you up there on a ladder.
Well, I'm not sure I would climb up on the outside of the steeple, but I mean, so for instance, for work that was done at other sites. So a member of my commission, Katie Holmes, is.
Oh, okay, all right,
The
okay,
community preservationist
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Newton,
okay.
and so she's inspected stuff.
okay.
Justin, this is Tommy. Can this be tabled so that we can
Sure.
actually see what was done and
Yep.
who was the construction company that got it? That did the work?
We hired the help of Capital Construction.
Capital.
And where are they
We're
at?
out of Boston, Tommy.
Yeah.
We're out of
Yeah,
Boston.
You know what,
Um,
unfortunately, Josh, I mean, I do remember this was our very last meeting, and then, you know, now to come press for the money now, I'd like to see a table to see exactly what was done and what was spent. What was the total job?
140, it's 148, 158, I'm sorry, 146, 158, 81, $146,158.81.
Okay, I mean, I kind of would like to see a table for, you know, one man's opinion.
All right.
I didn't think this, I thought we were voting to move it forward or not to actually having it done. But I understand.
Well, it's already, so
Situation.
let me explain, it had to be done.
No, I
because the-
understand that. I
Okay,
get that.
So there was no, so anyway, there's a motion on the floor to table it. Do I hear a second?
Well, if I could just interject, Joshua, what was the other price that you got? Do you remember?
Yeah, the other price was so before the copper work was cited, we were sitting at around $143,000, and the other company was giving us $142,000. It was more. It was between 1,000 to 1,500, so the range was quite close, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I personally don't see the need to table it. I mean, the work obviously needed to be done. The work was done. I'm, you know, presuming that it was done to, you know, building standards and was reviewed by the city. I mean, I'm sure you had a permit, right?
Yes.
What else are we gonna learn, you know?
Can I speak quickly?
Sure.
I'm generally in favor of this project. I actually walked by the day that they roped it off. I think I talked to you, Justin, and I wondered why all the fire trucks were standing there, and then everyone's looking up at the steeple, and this big chunk had fallen out of the steeple. I'm generally in favor of this project. I understand what you're all saying, and I think that the Korean church has heard us today saying we'd like this church to be a more publicly accessible space, and to the extent that they can you know, be more available to the community. I'd like to see that happen. I think we all would. And I appreciate the letters that you've provided, and the fact that Morton is here to talk about it. And I also want to say I'm grateful that there is a grow, you know, I don't know about growing or thriving, but there is an active tenant in this space. If there were no active tenant here, this is a building that would be in worse condition. So I understand that it's a challenge to keep a building like this going, and that it's, you know, buildings that aren't used are the ones that fall apart, and eventually we lose them. So to the extent that we can continue to make sure that this congregation is solvent and can help them take care of this important building, I think we should.
Thank you.
Well, we have a motion to table, so I haven't got a second, so that's off. So is there another motion on the,
I have a question actually for
go ahead, Dan.
Joshua. Yeah. So did I hear that, Joshua, that your congregation or church, what organization have you worked with in Waltham?
It was to my knowledge, I think they're closed now, but up until a couple years ago, I think they were called the CDC, and I think it is called the CDC because I remember thinking, oh, that sounds awfully close to Center for Disease and Control, but
Right.
yeah, so it was actually right behind our church, and they were a homeless soup kitchen of sorts.
Well, let me clarify that. CDC is open. It's Community Day Center. They are in the building on Felton Street that's shared with there's a pizza joint there. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's still
Berlundi.
there. Yeah. So they're still there.
Okay,
And
yeah.
they operated the warming shelter down at the old dog pound this past year. So they're still in business. So.
Mm. Yeah, so we were helping out with them up until a couple of years ago. Now that, yeah, I guess we can definitely go back since we know that they're open. But yeah, we helped out with the CDC, and again with the fire and police department, we're always supporting them at the end of the year as well.
Would it
Okay.
make sense to make a motion to have a temporary approval or a conditional approval to condition upon an inspection to make sure that things were done according to Department of the Interior standards?
Thank you. I was wondering about that.
Well,
Just gonna throw that out
How
there.
would that facilitate? I mean, we'd have to get it, would we go down and look at it, or?
No, that's Mort explained that he would have one of the people on his board, the commission, I guess, is qualified. She works for the city of Newton. Mort, are you still there?
I'm still here, but let me say there might be a caveat here, and again, this is because of COVID, that she's actually been working remotely from New Hampshire. And I'm not sure what her plans are for coming down into Waltham. I'll have to check with her, because I wasn't aware before now that the work had already been done, in fact. And so I haven't asked her about her availability. So so it's a question.
Well, that's not necessarily a problem in as much as if it's contingent upon her approval, it's not going anywhere and they've already spent the money. So then it's a case of, do they recoup it or not? So before we would pass it along before we would recommend it to the council, it would have to have that approval from what's her name? What's her name?
Katie Holmes.
Okay,
Well,
Katie, we have to have the approval from Katie Holmes, and once we got that, it would be forwarded to the council. Dan, you look like you have a question.
yeah, well, and why don't we generify it and say, inspected by anybody who has that level of authority?
Yeah, I would not put her name on it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
she is the one that's going to, unless we can get some other qualified individual, which I think, if Mort suggests that one, then that's the one we should probably go with. Unless
we could hire a historical consultant to come and do it, but that's of course more money. So.
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and that's
On a typical construction job, there's a permit pulled and there's a final inspection that's done by the city. Why wouldn't that suffice?
because it's historical, Bob. It's got to be the historical. Their standards, the Secretary of the Interior of Massachusetts has his standards for historical renovations. And it's got to be done to that spec.
I don't recall doing this in other projects.
Because it was included. It was a historical company it was a qualified historical renovation company that did it.
No, actually, we have made inspections before. The Sacred Heart Church building.
Correct.
The rectory or whatever it was that was done. So Alex Green inspected that. Gore Place when that was recently rehabilitated. So Katie Holmes from my commission did that, inspected that, and then reported back to the CPC. So
And those were done by historical renovation companies too, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's probably correct.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be part of the thing, Bob. When we do a renovation like that, the whatever department it falls under, most of the time it would be building, but we've got the Payne estate coming up tonight. That would have to be done to historic standards and would have to be inspected by someone associated with the historical.
All right, but I don't recall it being a condition of funding in previous applications.
Because it's always been included.
Correct, that's the
This
process.
has already been done, Bob. The other work has not been done. It was, the condition was it's done to this specification. This is already done. That's the difference. You understand where I'm coming from, Bob?
Yeah, I suppose, but I don't know. I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is. I don't recall it going that way. I don't recall that chronology.
Because we've never funded anything after the fact.
Okay, that's the point. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Although,
right.
why wouldn't my motion stand then? If we're gonna wait anyways until it's inspected, why would that motion go?
Because no one seconded it.
Well,
Given that the most recent dialogue here, I will second that motion.
To table it.
Right.
To,
table it, are we meeting next month?
That's the concept, I believe, right, Julie?
yes, October 15th, I believe. Julie, are you there?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it later on.
That's right,
Scheduled
yeah.
for the
Yeah, we're
6th,
gonna see
but
what
we're going
works
to
for everybody.
discuss.
Okay,
So-
so
We
So I
are
have
gonna
a-
meet next.
hold on a second. So either we can table it and wait for that information, or we can try to take a vote on putting the condition in. So I know there's a thing on the floor now that
And
somebody
that
got a
takes
second.
precedent.
Yes,
With the
correct.
second, that takes precedent, so.
So
One of the same, Dan. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
they're similar.
it would be kind of one and the same because we're not going to cut the check,
Correct.
the conditions met, or until they,
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
right? I mean, it's a matter of when they cut the check is the bottom line.
All right, well, there's somebody seconded Tom's, is that correct?
Yeah, so we'll have all in favor of the
So wait,
tabling.
could I ask a question before? If you're tabling it for a month in order to give my commission time to inspect it, I mean, I can't promise
And that's,
you know,
we can visit it next month. It's tabled. We don't have to pull it off the table next month. It can be November. So that's what we're doing right now is we're gonna be in neutral for it for right now until we get some kind of, okay? So, we're not saying no, but we're certainly not saying yes. Okay, until we get more information. So, and your committee is our commission is the key.
So we would table it and we can make that vote. You want to just vote on that right now just to get that
Yeah,
done?
that's exactly what I had asked.
So you asked all those in favor, I would say. aye.
Sorry. Can I ask a question here? I'm sorry to interrupt.
You can, you're not supposed to, but you can. Go
Uh,
ahead.
Thank you. So the motion here, if I'm understanding correctly, is to table this, our request for the grant until someone comes out to inspect whether or not we've met the qualifications for the work that we've done in regards to we've done it within the guidelines and we've done it properly. And if I may ask a follow-up question.
If I may clarify that,
Sure.
I'm sure the repairs were done properly because the building
Mhm.
department signed off on. However, to qualify for this under historic, it's got to be done to historic specification or standards, but the Secretary of the Interior sets a standard for historical renovations. it's got to be up to that. If not, you've got to bring it up to be funded.
Sure. Then a follow-up question to that. Then, because we were in a situation where we had to get the repairs done because otherwise our building wasn't open, would it be too much to ask for? Because then I'm sure if we were given the go-ahead to go along with the restoration before this happened, then we would have at least known what sort of standards that we were given to work under. But because we were kind of given it, we were blindsided when it came to the works.
Understood. However, there are standards to be met for historical. Okay, that if it doesn't meet it, it doesn't meet it. I understand it's an emergency, but the same thing would happen if with a water pipe. If you had an emergency fix on a water pipe and it was not to the city's specifications, you would have to change that emergency. The pipe you put in to city specs. The same thing would apply here.
Sure, I understand that. But I guess what I wanted to ask ultimately was that if we aren't up to historical standards and we need to bring the standards up to historical standards, would the CPC be gracious enough to allow for extra room for funding for us to get to those standards?
You would have to come back with an amended application.
With an amended application.
I would think, and again, it would now you're opening up yourself to acceptance. There is a process of acceptance of the application too, Josh. So I don't want to. It's certainly open. So and you could do that.
Sure. Well, we're hopeful yet desperate at the same time. So I can't help but be open to the acceptance of the application. But thank you, Justin.
Yeah. I think the best option here is to continue with this motion tabled. If something does come up, then you have a chance to amend it. But if we closed it right now, the number is the number. So let's table it. Let's get on with that vote. And then I think what I hear is, potentially getting letters as well in support of this. That was something that we needed as well. So we could probably, accomplish some of that in this 1 month period. And then we'll see how Mort's guys can do with getting out there in that month.
I mean, one thing that would help would be if we could get a hold of the bid documents for the job, so that I can send these to Katie so that she can review them, and at least get an idea of what was done there. I mean, then we'll have to compare it to what we know about how the steeple stood before it was repaired. Was it just basically the steeple that was worked on?
It was a steeple as well as siding on the building in the towards the back of the building. Okay. A little bit of the siding, yeah.
Since we were not consulted at the beginning of this project, so we have no documentation on it at all in the historical commission. And so I would need to have copies of that documentation to know what was done.
And Mort, would it be helpful if there was pictures that they had of before the work?
It would certainly be helpful. I mean, all information that you can supply us is going to be helpful. I mean, we're basically flying blind at this point because we, knew nothing about it before.
Anything else? Josh, you got that, right?
Yes, I'm sorry.
And I would strongly, I suggested to you, I would strongly suggest that to get this funding, to get it from the council, and they'll ultimately is the final say. They are going to want support from city councilors. So if we pass it, all we are is a filter for the council. All we do is recommend to the council that they may be interested in this project. If you don't have council support, we have spun our wheels.
Yeah, sure. We actually had I was in close contact with Councilor LaCava this whole procedure, so I think we're okay on that end, thankfully.
Okay. If that's it, on the motion,
So the motion,
In
just to be clear on the motion, since I have to record this, basically we're tabling the Korean Light application until we hear back about the.
Until the next meeting, and then we can
Okay.
decide. Let's
That's
continue
enough.
to the next meeting, okay?
Okay, great.
Justin, it's Sean
Yeah.
Wolfson. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
When do we receive our next round of funding?
In November.
In November. Okay. I was just
Yeah,
curious
we're
because
not-
I do know that.
I was gonna get into that after all of the applications are in. We should have enough money
Okay.
to do everything, all right? And I'll explain
Okay.
that afterwards. Thank you, Sean.
Good enough. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, with the motion passes, and we'll can table it until the next meeting, and then again, it depending upon what we get, it we'll open it then. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Okay, next, the Payne Estate, the Stonehurst application. Mort, are you representing, or is Ann Clifford on?
I was hoping Ann would be here. Ann, are you on?
I see Ann.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
I didn't see her.
I'll back her up, but she should do the talking.
Okay, that's fine. Ann, you want to do a quick
Sure.
presentation?
Okay, yeah, so we've submitted an application for 754-163 for the exterior preservation of the building. We came before you a little while ago to get some funding for the architect. And of course, we hired a preservation architect who has who spent the last year or so developing, or not quite a year, developing plans and specs, which are at 100% completion at this point for this project, which is basically a wood preservation project. There's a lot of decay across the entire building. And that decay affects not just, the aesthetics of the building, but also, of course, lets water into the building and is eroding some of the structural members. So he spent quite a lot of time trying to figure out like the most complicated piece, which was the column right at the main entrance, which is, elaborately carved but is also like a key structural member that affects visitor safety. So he ultimately added a steel beam in the center, and he's like coopering this column around it. But that's just one piece. The whole south porch, the loggia, the second floor porch, also has columns that are decayed and probably main beams that are decayed. As we're going through this, we're replacing all of the exposed shingles. We're preserving the shingles that are protected under the porches, which are quite old, but the exposed shingles have exceeded their lifetime and are, falling off and mossy and, rotten through and through. I think they're about 35 years old. And, there are other pieces which are all detailed in the photographs and the drawings that I sent to you. So if you have any specific questions, I'm here to answer them.
Okay, open it to the committee. Any questions? This is the one we had given, I believe we allotted $50,000 for the survey. And this is basically what's come back with the suggestion of the survey. Is that correct, Ann?
That's right, yes.
Okay, all right. Any questions from the committee? No questions? Okay, anybody?
Actually, I have a
Yeah, go
very, shows my ignorance question. So cedar shingles go bad after 35 years, is obvious, as stated in this document here. And is replacing them with more cedar shingles, I presume that's because, I mean, it has to be done because again, historic aspect. And correct me if that's wrong. Is there some way to make them so last longer than 35 years?
We are following the Secretary of the Interior standards, which require that you replace the materials in kind. So it does need to be, cedar shingles. And he's replicated the historic, thickness and length of the shingles, the type of shingle. For the roof, we did add a protective coating. Not any sort of stain or paint, which is also, part of the whole aesthetic, that there is no stain or paint, but we did opt to do a preservative. So I'm sure that, or I do know for a fact that there will also be a preservative on the new shingles. So hopefully they will last a little bit longer than the 35 years.
That's nice to hear. Anybody in construction here knows preservatives will make it last longer than 35? Nope. Okay.
The cedar shingles on my house are painted and they're 100 years old.
Oh,
Just
okay.
starting to show wear now.
All right. So put some preservative definitely will take it past, or should take it past 35 then.
The paint worked on my house.
Cool.
Well,
Paint's the
I'm
only thing
not
holding my
sure,
house together.
I'm not sure that, are you talking, these are roof shingles? And I think a roof shingle is not gonna, and maybe Bob could, roof shingle will not last as long, I don't believe, because it's exposed. The exposure is much more.
There are also shingles that sheathe the building. The second floor of the building is shingle, and this is actually a quintessential shingle style building. Like, this is the kind of building that gave the shingle style its name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just some-
as far as the roof shingles go, it's a function of how, is it, how long it's in direct sunlight each day, and,
Exactly.
But a regular asphalt shingle is not much more than 25 years anyways.
I mean, is it under a tree, is, mold come into play because of, excessive, or not sufficient sunlight. There's so many factors. But
Okay.
by the average, you get 25 years. It's pretty good.
Okay. Thanks, Bob.
All right, any
Yeah.
other questions?
Hey,
Could I interject something here, Justin?
Sure.
I just wanted to say that we had our meeting last night, and grilled the architect quite extensively for about 15, 20 minutes on the project, and went over the details in his drawings and so on. And I was quite impressed by the work that he's done and the care he's taken. I mean, he has used different materials where it made sense to do that. So there's a certain gutter area where the trough of the gutter can't be large enough to accommodate the flows if it's a wooden gutter the way it originally was. And so he's going to use something else that will last longer and solve that problem that's really been causing great difficulty by the substitution of materials, but make it look historic. So I was quite satisfied that he's done a reasonable job in both protecting the historic accuracy of the renovation and also taking what care he could to make it reasonably cost effective.
And I should just mention that because we are a National Historic Landmark, we're required to submit a project notification form to Mass Historical Commission, including drawings and draft specs. And I think we did that at the 60% completion, and they did review our drawings and specs and did give us a sign off. So we have the sign off from the state as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Ann.
Excellent.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yes, Ann or Mort, can you kind of give us a quick summary of how you arrived at the $750 some odd thousand figure?
There's a,
Yes, we hired or the architect hired a cost estimator, and so the cost estimation is included in the package.
yeah,
So
it's in there.
each
Yeah,
item is-
I saw that. Were there any actual contractor bids?
No, we just received the drawings, I think, a week and a half ago. So we haven't had an opportunity to send it out to bid yet. And I know that we're getting near the end of the season, so I was hoping to, you know, get your approval. And once we do get that approval, you know, start sending it out to bid and get some actual numbers.
How many bids do you anticipate getting?
This would, because the project is as large as it is, it would need to go out to public bid. So, you know, it could be maybe 5 or so.
Okay. Okay.
This will come out of
Does
the
that run
purchase.
through the city,
Yeah,
through the purchasing department?
That's right. Yes. So this
Yeah.
is a city project. It would be handled by the purchasing department.
Okay.
okay. Any questions from anybody else other than committee members? Okay, seeing none. Is there any opposition to it? Okay, seeing none, I would look for a motion.
So moved that we support this project to fund the restoration of the Payne Estate exterior for 754.
The 754, 163,
Yes.
okay, seconded. Any discussion?
Can I just ask a question, another question? What's the timeline for construction on this?
I included a rough timeline. I'm hoping to go out to bid as quickly as we can, and we can probably get started this fall. But I do anticipate it going on into the spring. And so just to give us plenty of time, I think I had to end a completion date of December 31st, 2021.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? I'm gonna take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Mort and Ian, thank you very much. This will get recommended to the city council.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Hey,
Okay.
Justin,
Yeah.
before you go on to the next thing, two things. One,
Shoot.
you look like Darth Vader. And
Well, it's
can
cold. Put a
can
sweatshirt
Bob
on.
give us an update on the score?
It's tied at halftime, 55-55.
Thank you.
Oh, that's very important.
See, that was
Okay.
making a motion to close.
I know my role.
All right, the next one is the Home for Veterans Network launch application. I see we have Dave DiGregorio on and I guess,
We have
Dave, you want to give
Roland.
us a?
We have
Roland,
Roland
okay.
there in me. So
Okay.
am I Roland or am I Dave Gregorio tonight? Haven't figured it out
Whichever
yet.
one, which, you both are on as far as,
No, I know.
okay,
I'm
so.
really on a big delay here, so I'm on a heavy delay, but I'd like to give you just an overview on
Please,
how we got here, if that's okay.
make it quick.
I will.
Okay,
Okay, so I put together a program for a major corporation for veterans. And what happened is that I met with the presidents and the corporate people and all that stuff, and I started putting some numbers together. What I wanted is, it was mixed with some heavy incentives for veterans on buying homes. And so when I went through the numbers, I found out there's 387,000 veterans in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, about 1,264 homeless, 4% unemployment. Bottom line was, at that time, total prospective veterans that would buy houses is 363,878. I broke everything down into the numbers. And when I got down to a certain number, I was flabbergasted to find out that out of all those veterans, 127,359 veterans in Commonwealth of Massachusetts make less than $40,000. So what I did is, I tried to find a way. I went into the affordable housing and the low income housing, and I put some numbers there together. And what I tried to do is then I went into how they can get into them and stuff like that. And the bottom line is that I found out that veterans weren't getting a fair deal. So I wrote a bill, believe it or not, and I don't know much about bills. And I met with Mr. Urena and all the people in the State House. I did my situation there, and they kind of liked what I had to say. John Lawn was there, and Tom Stanley was there. So what happened is, with the bill, they took the bill, they filed a bill. It's Bill 3777. It's been through everything. I'm in the third reading right now. I'm waiting right now for it to, because of COVID, it hit COVID. We're a little bit delayed. And what that does is that it gives veterans a preference. What happens is when, as you all know, 40Bs come into the city, it gets preference. Okay? And then it goes into the lottery. Veterans get lost in the lottery. This will go from the state right to the service directors in the cities. 1 in 10, which is 10% of the allocation. Quickly, I'll tell you, in 2000, the United States came out with a proclamation that all veterans, the homeless veterans, they'll find them housing and get off the streets. Come out with the VASH program. Then they increased the VASH program. In 2005, it didn't work. The reason why it didn't work, because they didn't have the housing. We still don't have the housing. So anyway, I dug in further and further, and I put myself together. My wife and I talked, who's a co-person on this. We found out that we could be a great asset. So we met with the executive team at the New England Center Homes for Veterans. And what we did there is we wanted to find out exactly what was going on with them. You probably know who they are. They have 289 beds. It's a 6-month program, 100 people from infirmaries to education to psychiatry and everything else. So take that. And then the problem is I met up at the boardroom. We met with the board. They couldn't put it together. And then I told them about, they said, now I get it, because you can supply housing. And I said, can't supply housing. We have to get this law passed. So then we got into Launch Foundation, and we established Launch Foundation. The Launch Foundation, I think you have in front of you our mission statement. So, but we're doing why we would like to purchase this property is because the Home for Veterans in Boston will help us. So we have 6-7 bedrooms in this beautiful home. We can bring them in. They have nowhere to live. They can't get any more people into the housing in Boston. These people from Waltham, we can put them in there. And not only that, they have a great, it's a clean, beautiful building. So we added a little bit more. So we're doing, we're going to be, while we're having these people in there, we'll try to find them housing security. There's food insecurity. We're going to put together the program, or we have the program, where veterans in the city of Waltham, they're on that bubble that need food, that need any kind of nourishment or whatever they need. They go to the city, and when they go to the city goes out looking for the stuff. They won't have to look anymore. We can provide it. We can help them with it. We can sit down and see why they're having this food problem. We're going to we'll get them the food, and then we can get into employment, the job searches, health access, substance abuse counseling, and mental health counseling, and mentoring, of course, and getting around the community and help them. We're doing this in Waltham now. Are we ever going to expand? Absolutely, we'll expand. But right now, we were born here. I was born here. My family's here. I'm a veteran. My daughter's a veteran. My young son's a veteran. I've been involved. I've been working on this for 7 years. And I'd like to get the opportunity to show this city that we'll have a place for veterans to go that will fulfill all their needs, including housing. That's what I have to say. And I'm hoping that you guys, ladies, will consider it. Am I there?
Yep. Questions from the committee?
Yeah, David,
Yes.
through Justin, it's Tommy Crianti.
Yes,
Who's
sir.
gonna own the house? Is it gonna be an organization?
Foundation. Yes. the
And what's the
foundation
name
will
of
own the
that?
house.
I'm sorry?
It's the Home for Veterans Network Launch, and we're using it as the Launch Foundation. We are a 501(c), and we're a foundation.
Okay, and who maintains it? Who maintains the outside, the inside, the cleaning,
We will have a house
the outside
manager.
care?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have a landscaper because that's a beautiful place.
Now, are you gonna charge rent to the home, to the veterans?
Well, the veterans, when they stay there, they will be on the VASH program. So they could stay there 6 months, they could stay there 2 years, but our job is to get them out there, find them housing, get them a job. So what we're gonna do also is, I believe that Roland gave some name, we're gonna go to companies and we're gonna try to find them jobs.
So we've already done a kind of a job search.
I mean,
Let me
no question, this committee is short on housing. I mean, we've done great things in all the other areas, but housing we are short on. But, you know, there has been a whole lot of good ideas that came across the table, and this, I'm really excited about it. It sounds great. I'm always worried about, once you purchase it through us, the maintenance, the upkeep, the going forward, the next year, the 5 years from now. And that's what I worry about, you know, for the 1 point, whatever it was for million. Those are the things that I worry about.
No, and I can assure you, I was part of the Dorothy Francis home, as you know, and that.
No, I know, and it was great at that point.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna have, as far as maintenance concerned, my son Chris, he's 42 years old. He is actually going to be there. You know, if there's a problem, a substance abuse problem, we're not gonna. Once they get out of where they are, let me put it this way: if somebody comes to the door and they're a veteran and they need a place to sleep and they're drunk or whatever, we're gonna bring them in Boston where they need to be, or we'll bring them into the VA. Okay. What we're going to have here is that they've already been through full programs, and they're and we need to just pick them up and move them out. As far as the maintenance of the building, we have volunteers. We'll have all kinds of volunteers and take care of it. But the landscaping, the inside, my daughter will be there. My wife will be there. You know, we'll bring in other people who'll be there. I mean, if you're talking about cleaning, keeping it clean, we'll take care of that. Sure.
I am, because, you know, in my 9 to 5 job, I see the worst of the worst.
Yes, I bet you do.
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, that has always been to spend all this money of the taxpayers and not to keep it the way that, you know, I would like to see it be kept is always been an issue.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have to look too far from that particular house to see what I'm talking about. You know how.
So Tom, this is Roland Butler. I'm here with David too. So
Hi,
I'm
Roland. Tommy Crianti.
Nice to meet you, Tom.
Nice
so
to meet you,
one of the
sir.
things too with the VASH program, and actually with the VA and VASH, the veterans actually get a housing allowance, and it's anywhere from $900 to $1,300 a month. So we'll just say there's 6 beds in there right now, and we'll call it we'll just call it a wash. It's $6,000 a month we would get, just $1,000 a month per bed. We'll just say an average of that. So that will help maintain the cost of the home. You know, obviously there's going to be bills like water bills, electric bills, whatever else it may be. I've also talked to a few different contracting companies here in the Waltham area that I know personally and through business, where there is a couple of landscaping companies that will actually donate the work for the landscaping, and then it's a good piece of property. It's not like I could go.
Oh, it's a beautiful property. It's a beautiful property.
It's not like I could go out there and cut the yard in 20 minutes or not.
Right.
There's a lot of volunteers. You know, I've talked to a few of the hockey coaches and stuff like that, where they do a lot of stuff with the VA and the VFW. And what they do is they bring the high school kids over for a day of care or whatever you want to do, volunteering. So there's different things like that. So besides the volunteering, the donations, there is income coming in. There will be income coming in. One of the things on top of that, talking with the New England Home for Vets, there's actually 4 Waltham. There's 4 veterans in Waltham right now on living in a house in Main Street, and it's not the best situation. They would be able to place them immediately.
Yeah.
So immediately you would have $4,000 per month.
Well, I would like to see a portion of your monthly income go towards some type of a maintenance. I mean, volunteers are nice, but you really can't push a volunteer if the long, you know, if it's every 10 days, it should be every 5.
Tommy, not to interrupt you. We'll do whatever you want. I'm not towards the motion that we have somebody do. We need a professional there, because that property has to be pristine and stay pristine. And to prove how it would be, you know, there's got to be a little bit of faith there. I mean, I've been in business a long time.
No, I know, David. It's a beautiful property in a beautiful neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be self-sustaining at this, right? So with the, you know, $4,000 a month, we did it at kind of an average income. It would an average cost of maintaining with electricity, supplies, or whatever it may be, cleaning, you know, landscaping. It would probably cost about $2,800 to $3,200 a month. Even with just 4 beds rented, it would cover that. When I say rented, that covered that the VASH program would cover. And then there would be 2 more, possibly up to 2 more on top of that. You could potentially, the bedrooms are large enough to put 2 beds in it, but again, that's up for discussion.
Well, you actually have there's 6 bedrooms in it now. It's 18 rooms. It's almost 8,000 square feet, and that's why we're going to do a lot of different other things with the food and the you know, the insecurity situations. But the bottom line is that right now, as of now, you know, the Chamber of Commerce, we're now members. They're helping us. They're doing fundraisers for us, which is remarkable. Okay, they're really behind this. Also, I'm going to be on Waltham Watches. There'll be 2 corporate webinars just alone with Chamber of Commerce. So we will be getting a lot of fundraising. The money that we can get in this city, because people are really good people, they'll donate to this. I have not done any yet, but as soon as I get done with this meeting, and if we could get some kind of a movement, I could tell you that the council will vote it through. I believe that the mayor is behind this kind of situation. I think it's a winner. It would be prestigious for the city. It'd be good for the veterans, the neighborhoods. I mean, this is something the veterans need, something like this. I can't say that this is done anywhere. This is like when you did the Dorothy Francis home. I've said, institutions are gone. Okay, I don't like institutions, but I'm not the guy. But you know, when up in the Fernal School, I proposed up there something up at the Fernal School. Instead of putting these people in like brick buildings and stuff like that, you have to bring them into the neighborhoods. We need to get them back. You got to remember about veterans. When the veteran left, he was of sound mind, good health. He had to do everything perfect. I know. And what happened? Something happened while he was overseas, or something happened in the military. And these are the people we're taking care of. 1% of the population are veterans. 1%. So 99% could help that 1% to get them back on their feet and get them moving.
David, I applaud your efforts. And again, you know, the CPC, I feel, in its one-man position, have not done enough for housing. So, I mean, I'm glad to see this come forward, because this, to me, makes sense, you know, with some work. But it does make sense. And I'm really glad that it's you.
Listen, if we get this approved, you guys, you can come over anytime. You'll be over there anyway inspecting, I believe. You're an inspector, right? sometime, right?
Yeah.
The doors are open to anybody from the city. As soon as we get it, we're gonna have all the city over there, take a look, and whatever you want, we will do. And as far as I'm concerned,
We get,
money's not an object.
let us get through this. All right, Dan Melnichek has a question.
Yeah, I got a couple,
Yes, sir.
actually. Yeah, I agree with Tom about doing more affordable and low income and housing for homeless, for everybody, that's included. So a couple of questions. Is the,
Yes, sir.
yeah, David, is the Network Launch organization, is that a 501c3?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yep.
that's good. And so, but and this project here in Waltham at 49 Pleasant Street is the first project of the organization.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay.
We're purchasing a home for veterans. That's what it is, and it will be a home for veterans. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. So you do know that there would have to be a deed restriction put on that. It would always be for affordable housing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good.
Yep.
I think I also just want to agree with the issue of staff. So I presume, so I heard some numbers thrown around that how much per month that would come in per veteran.
Yes.
And that was like 4K, and then the cost like 3,200 a month for operations. Did that 3,200 include some staff in that or not?
No, the staff's not at this point.
No, it doesn't include staffing. So what we will do is we'll work with the local Bedford VA, and we will work with the New England Home for Veterans.
Okay.
There's different programs we can work in. There's actually a few different grants too, but to apply for those grants, you have to have housing in place.
Oh, I see.
And there's several grants from different, whether it's government, like federal government, whether it's a organization that is set up to help organizations like Launch and so forth that will help veterans. There is different grants available. We will get a professional grant writer to help us write for those grants.
And
Actually, we've already worked on that. We already started. We had a big meeting the other day and packaging it up to get the grants. Whatever's available out there, we're going for.
that sounds like great. What about social workers, to help?
Did they come?
What's that?
Yeah.
So the veterans that we are dealing with are primarily going to come out of the VA and the New England Home for Veterans. All of those veterans have a case manager.
Okay.
That are associated with them, and that case manager, what it does is they actually, even when they go through a program in whether it's through the VA or the New England Home for Vets. New England Home for Vets is a contractor for the VA. They provide a lot of the services, and when that case manager is assigned and they go through their 6-month program and then whatever programs they went through, whether it's for whatever care it may be or for educational and job training and so forth, that case manager follows them pretty much throughout their career, even though they may no longer be, our goal is to help these veterans, give them a safe house, a safe place to live in, and then get a job and kind of be productive in society. That case manager, even though they may not be with them permanently after that, they will follow them throughout their career.
Okay. That sounds really good. And then just out of curiosity, is there some sort of certification for running a facility like this that has to be met by something? I don't know. I'm ignorant. So
There's not a specific certification that we would need for something like this. If you're going, there's different levels of care and case management. We're not what we would say is a psychiatric care. We wouldn't be providing that. So we wouldn't have any.
Right. So they have the case managers, and if this is about a place to sleep and
Right.
And eat and
Yes.
And be in the community.
Right. And get them moving and to get them a job and get them
Okay,
a place
cool.
to live.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
thank you, sir.
That's what,
Okay,
that's what I have for now. Thank you.
Eric,
some
Eric
questions.
has a question.
Well, I'm, as Tom said, I'm super supportive of this idea. We haven't spent enough of our money on housing, and I want to find a way to do this. But I do find this application a little thin. We have required a lot of previous applicants, and in fact, there's a big section of this application that says all housing applications must provide all of these things, and I don't see any of those things. So, one of my questions is, about the sustainable. I understand we're helping you launch, we're helping you with some seed money here, and particularly, a property, which is valuable. But how do we, what kind of indication can you give us that this, that you have some plans for sustainability of this organization, longer term? And, what is our role if this organization is no longer operating this house for whatever reason? I mean, if it's an organization of primarily volunteers, these things have a way of morphing into, who's in charge. What happens to the property at that point, and how do we ensure that it's maintained as, I guess we would put a preservation or an affordability restriction on the property? But I guess I'd like a little bit more on the organization.
Yeah, Erica, let me answer. Erica.
Yep.
Erica, let me answer part of that. My thought is on this, similar to what we did with the music hall. We would have a clawback clause or something that the city is protected, and that would be, we would have to set up some kind of a schedule. Let's just take a 300, you take a mortgage of 30 years and you take the amount, divide it, and let's say it's an interest-free mortgage, and put that towards their like similar to a mortgage, and have the city gets, if it should go into a problem, someone else takes it over, we get the remainder of the money back. That's how I would envision that. Dan, you look like you have a question. Does that make sense to you, or Erica? Before I,
That's one way. The other way, the other thing, I know from having been the treasurer of a nonprofit, that when you dissolve your nonprofit, you have to give all your stuff to another nonprofit. So, if there was that type of ending to this organization, and another affordable housing operation that was a nonprofit could then, the property could be given, and they would have the lien of the mortgage, of course, but at least it would be affordable housing continuing.
I would prefer the city has that lien until it gets an acceptable 5 nonprofit, Dan, wouldn't you think?
I'm not sure about, I guess
I would want the city to have some kind of say in it.
As to which nonprofit?
Well, yeah, exactly. If you have several, I mean, if the city has a vested interest in it, and that is a 30-year oversight on it, they could also look for a suitable nonprofit. Does that make sense?
I mean, there's probably a lot of, whatever.
I mean, the other
however,
thing is,
I'm not sure they would is the issue.
Well, they've got a house. Actually, they've got a housing department, and actually, Bob. I would ask Bob Waters. Are you there, Bob?
I am.
Would the city oversee something? Are you listening to the conversation?
Yes,
Would the city oversee that?
I didn't, I've been listening to the conversation, but what are you asking for the city to do? Are you talking about my office?
Just if the city has the oversight of this 501c3 that's a nonprofit housing for veterans, and it went bad. If the city had a vested interest, i.e. for 30 years, would your department be able to oversee it until they got a new
nonprofit?
Yeah, we've done stuff like that in the past. I would think it would be a possibility, yes.
Oh, okay. That's the only thing is, that's what my thought is, Dan, on that.
Justin.
Oversight. Yeah.
Justin, why couldn't we do something like we did at the Music Hall Avenue? Some type of a 30-year nut or a moratorium on it, that it would, we would at least retain our money.
Yeah, that's what I would try to do. Absolutely, Tom.
I mean, the property is a beautiful piece of property, and as long as it's maintained and we have some say in that, I'd be comfortable with something like that.
Well,
Okay.
it sounds like that's some, I wonder what aspect, if that has to all be figured out ahead of time.
What did we do at Music Hall? Did that have to go to the law department? I'd like to keep that
Yeah,
out of
I
it,
think
but
it would probably have to go to the law department.
this is time sensitive.
That is time sensitive.
I
Yes,
figured
very,
it.
that's why.
It-
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me, am I under the impression I heard that you signed a offer on
I
this
have,
thing?
I have an offer statement. Yeah, I have it right in front of me. Yes.
Okay, has it gone to
I
PNS?
have guidelines that I have to meet. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it has not gone to purchase and sale yet though, correct?
It won't go to purchase and sale until about 3 days until we know that it's guaranteed, it's through the council. Nobody can buy this house. I have this house tied up for 7 weeks.
7 weeks.
They can't do anything. But I don't know what the time frame is. I have it.
I don't think that's enough.
November 27th. Well, based on if you folks can approve it, it can go to the council, right? And the council says that, that they can put it on what I call a fast track, and it'll go to committee, then it goes to the mayor or whenever the mayor comes. I have to close by January 28th, but I have till November 27th to make this all happen. This is, what are we in? September?
September
October?
15th.
15.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 weeks I think was that they gave me to, let me see what it says here.
All right, let's talk about funding, revenue a little more, Dave.
A lot.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. If you're only starting with 4,000 a month, that seems low. Is there any chance of getting that?
No. That was a small number, Justin. We could put 8 people into this house tomorrow morning. I was just saying, even if it was at the minimum, we could place 4.
All right. Well, I guess what we
There's
want is
there's 142 veterans waiting for housing in Boston right now. There's 4 in Waltham waiting for housing.
Oh, just 4. Okay, so if you could get 2 more, you'd be at $6,000 a month.
Right. We can put more, but I mean, how many can we put in there? Well, how many are we gonna be allowed to put in there?
Well, that would be
Beautiful.
up to that would be there's a standard for housing for in a group home like that, whatever. There's got to be, I don't know exactly what it could be, 10 square feet per resident in the bedroom. So if you
It's 150 for the first resident, 100 per suite after, for housing.
Okay, so that's what you could put in there in those bedrooms. So, but I want to, I guess what we need is a minimum. If you can do $6,000 a month, that sounds very, very doable. We can set up a kind of a budget or a management for you, or you can set up a budget management so we know exactly all the bills are going to get paid, and your volunteers from the VA, if that's all taken care of, is Dan said you gotta, as far as staffing, there'll be staff members there. Are they going to be volunteers or are they going to be paid? And is it gonna be is it gonna be 24? Is the residence gonna be open 24 hours a day?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Will there be,
Yeah.
will there be a staff member there 24 hours a day?
Yes, yeah, there'll be two
Okay.
staff members there. There'll be a quartermaster and a staff member, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a few
If this
questions?
was approved, I want you to just think about this. If this was approved, fundraising will take off big time. I mean, this is the problem. This came up
Dave.
real quick.
You don't need, the way I'm looking at it, if you had 6 residents there and no mortgage, the fundraising is an ancillary. That's nice. But
Yeah,
but
we
if
can
you
have 6, we can have,
you don't fundraise, then you've got to have a sustainable amount of money per month.
right,
This is the thing.
okay.
And Bob, you start.
So are
Bob,
we allowed to have 6?
Yeah, we can't because there's 6 separate bedrooms, yeah.
Right, but no, does the city allow you to, based on what it is, to have 6? If we could have 6, we got 6 bedroom, we could have 8 bedrooms, 10.
Tom already answered that question, I believe. Correct, Tom?
Yeah, it's
Those
150,
bedrooms,
it's 150 per square foot for the first resident and 100 per square foot after, not counting your kitchen, bathroom and hallways. So,
yeah.
I mean,
So
the
basically,
square
we
footage
could
is a
probably
lot.
put anywhere between 10 and 12 in there.
Correct.
Bob LeBlanc, you have a question.
So I just kind of want to backtrack a little bit before we go too far into the funding. I just want to understand, so is it a lottery system where these guys get to come to this house?
No, it's not a lottery system, Bob. We will be vetting them. We had conversations with the New England Home for Vets. We're not looking, we all know that there's some veterans out there that have a lot of PTSD and other problems and so forth. We're not looking for the guy that's so far off the rails. It's not. We're working through a process right now of how we're going to vet the veterans that are coming in. Where obviously they're where they are for a reason. It's not that they have a stable income, a stable home, or everything else. So there's going to be a few that will not be they're coming off of a 6-month program. They're somewhat considered stable. We talked to the veterans, like I said, the VA and so forth. We're looking for more of the guy that is willing to work, wants to go to work, ready to go. We're just giving him a place and a foundation where he can start.
So it's transitional, right?
Transitional is a tough word, and I don't like to use that word, but yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yes, I don't look at it as a transitional leader. A guy could be there for 6 months. He could be there for 2 years. He could be there for 5 years. Would you consider that somebody transitional? I don't know.
Well, I'm just trying to get a feel for the typical resident that would be living here.
Right. Like, for example, there's a veteran right now that I know of. He just came back from Afghanistan. No PTSD or any of that stuff. He is pretty stable, has a job, but he's living at an armory in Cambridge because he has nowhere to live.
Right. I mean, trust me, as has been stated by a number of the members of the committee here, everyone, I think, is in favor of helping out veterans. And we've got a serious deficiency in our committee of providing housing. So it seems to be a match. It's just that, like, one of the questions I had was, would there have to be a zone change to enable this property to accept, and become, this type of home? I mean, I don't know the legalities of that. And that could seriously impact your time frame,
If I may on that, I know group homes don't need any type of zone changes. They can go pretty much anywhere. I don't know if this falls under a group home or not. David, you might know where you're dealing with.
Yeah, we were told it would fall under a group home.
Right, then I believe you can go almost anywhere. Or you can go anywhere.
Yeah. I think,
and there's a lot of but there's a lot of group homes in the city, but this is unique. This is for veterans where they can finally have a place to live,
Yeah, I don't want to focus too much on it, but the word sustainability, which was brought up earlier by one of our committee members, I mean, I get the volunteerism, I get the, I know there's a lot of support for this now, but, you know, looking 3, 4, 10 years down the road, again, you know, what's the picture then, you know? I know in other projects we've supported, we've had the assistance of like Waltham Housing. I know Justin tried to bring in Bob Waters into the mix here a little while ago. I think that's a key component in getting this to a place where the city council can approve the funding.
I think the sustainability we can do, Bob, and it's not I think, I know, it's because of the way the funding works for the VA and the VASH program. Like we said, 4 of those residents would immediately could be placed from Waltham. Our priority, obviously, because of the city that we live in, is going to be veterans from Waltham, and then from the local community around that. So it would be a minimum. I mean, tomorrow morning, we would put in 6 tomorrow morning if we're allowed because of the size and the scope of the house. We would put more in there, but again, we want it to be a comfortable place. We want guys bunking like you're on a submarine. No. We want where a guy can have a room, have a comfortable place, and so forth. So the sustainability reality right now with the square footage and the 150 square foot for the first resident, 100 per square foot for the second resident, we could probably put 10 to 12 people in there.
Yeah.
It's an 8,000 square foot house, right? It's not a small house. We could put that then in there tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And at a minimum of $900 a month, up to $1,300 a month per veteran, depending on the programs that they qualify for. I just said $1,000 just to call it a rough number. If you put 6 in there, it's 6,000. If you put 10 in there, it's 10,000 a month.
The body that's going to be administering this, are they going to be housed in that property?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that question.
The body of the administration body that will be administering to this project, are they going to be housed in the building?
Yes. Yes.
There's an office. This was an old dentist office.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the building.
Space. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I have
There'll
another
be
question.
2 all the time, and we'll have 2 living there all the time, day and night.
Dan has a question first, Erica, and then it is Erica, right?
Yep, it was me.
Dan has a question first.
Yeah, so basically, I guess I want to refer back to Erica's point that there's a lot of things that are missing that are supposed to come with this application.
Right.
Now, you've been throwing out a lot of numbers, and you can only take so many notes, and without it being like in a spreadsheet that we see, and so there's 2 key things on the list that I would think we really need to see, which is the development pro forma and operating budgets. Now, I mean, like I say, you've been throwing out numbers, but it'd be nice to see that in a document. And the second thing is required for acquisition of property is an appraisal of the property. So those are
We gave you I know it's not an appraisal, but it is a market analysis. And I don't know, did you see it?
I will take
Yeah.
I was really, I'm in the business, and this was done by the managers of Caldwell Banker. And this property, the average property is 1,433. Medium is 1,400,000. The bottom line is the end thing, the price based on the average sales is 1,433.5. It could go up to first on the square footage of 1,898,545. We did all that. We will have a professional appraiser come in also, because we wanted to know what it's worth too, because we don't want to come to you and say, but if somebody was to buy this, it wasn't on the market for what it is because it's not worth it. This house is a premier piece of property, and I'm telling you, this is a perfect. Everybody that we talked to, I've talked to a lot of council people, a lot of city people, because I didn't just jump into this, right? Because I wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing. And the bottom line is it's worth it, and they think this is a good cause for it. So again, we'll do whatever you folks want us to do. We'll do. And would like to do it, try to expedite a little bit, because we don't want to lose this opportunity. This happened very quickly to us. You know what I mean? We were looking. I was looking at Beaver Street because that used to be my home. Go by there now and see what's going on over there. We're not going to run a business like that, okay? Because we had it and it was good, and now I'm doing this, and I like to keep it really nice. So, yes, we'll get whatever you need.
So just back to that, you'd like to see a development pro forma and an operating budget.
Yeah, and I did not see the whatever the evaluation of the what you said from that realtor.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
That didn't come across my inbox. Maybe I missed it.
Okay.
But it's technically we're supposed to get an appraisal. I'll let the other members chime up. Should we get a technical appraisal?
I think the city is going to require an appraisal for the council.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we want them to go to the expense because it's $25,000 to $5,000 for the appraisal.
Right.
So I don't think that would be fair. You know, if we get the if we give them the recommendation, then they're going to have to get the appraisal for the city.
I see. Okay. Yeah, so the development pro forma and operating budgets, for some number of years, how you see, you've said how much, whatever, you know what I mean? 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll give you the next. What we'll try to do is pull up something for the next 3 to 7 years, if that makes sense.
Sounds great. Right.
My question was related to that. So just to chime in, I'd love to see some kind of pro forma, but really understand, there's a $1.5 million cost here, and it's just such a really round number. If we did get an appraisal or even some kind of breakdown of how much of that is acquisition versus improvements to the site, that would be helpful.
So and I'll give you kind of an update on that too. So this house was purchased by the existing owners right now. Back in 2007, I think was the date. They put about $800,000 into the house with all receipts and documentation that they've done to the work in the house. It is handicap accessible today. We may have to, the kitchen will need to have some work done to it to make it handicap accessible. If there is a veteran that has handicap needs, obviously we want to make that a place again of comfort and sustainability for somebody like that. The work that has been done, even 10 years from now, all the plumbing has been updated, all the permits were pulled, plumbing, electrical, everything is new in the house. The only thing I don't think is new is the front door. That is the original front door from when the house was built in 1818.
Okay.
Now, just to let I had I was on the Board of Survey and Planning, met with the council last night, and Kathy Ann Harris and Sean Durkee and Tom Stanley came up and mentioned that this was going to come up, and they wanted me to let everybody know they're in support of it. So I am just letting you know.
That's helpful.
Thank you.
Anything else?
If I may jump in, this is Corin McGinn.
Sure.
I'm an attorney, and I was just brought on board to help with this. And what we're doing is we're constituting a board, and as Dan has said, as a registered foundation, it can never be destroyed. It always has to go somewhere, and it's overseen by the Attorney General. So we will have a primary board and an advisory board that will oversee the finances for this. And it is our intention that since we're doing this on a voluntary basis, that we need to get full-time paid people in to run this. And so that's fully our intention. And we'll be able to pad out the application. As has already been said, this was a very last minute thing, but we hope to be able to provide you more answers and come up with the pro forma budget.
Thank you, Corinne. Just one last question. Is the board, is that a paid board or a volunteer board?
The volunteer board.
It's
Great, thank
totally
you.
volunteer board. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I don't even live in Waltham. But this is an important issue that's often underserved.
Absolutely.
Is there already a chair of the board or president of the
David is-
corporation or Dave?
Yeah,
Okay,
David is the chair.
okay.
Who-
Thank you.
Actually, who is on the board and who's on the advisory board?
So on the board today is David and Raylene. They're the founders of the Launch Foundation. I'm on the board as the Veterans Advocate. Corin is on the board. He's our legal counsel. We have Chris on the board, who is the Veterans Dependency Advocate, those who have potentially high risk of abuse dependencies. It's Chris DiGregorio. And then on the advisory board, we have a slew of different people. We have General Hurley, who's a two-star general. He was the two-star general at the Pentagon for the pastors. He's a retired general. He's a priest up in Winchester, Mass. Now. We have
What's his name?
Father Hurley.
Okay.
Would it be Father General Hurley or General Father Hurley?
It's Chaplain Hurley.
Chaplain Hurley.
Chaplain General?
He was in charge of all the chaplains in the United States of America. He just retired about 6 months ago.
I think you might have actually a letter of support. You should have probably a
actually, I saw that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne from the
I'm sorry?
VFW.
Wayne Henry's on. Yeah, Wayne is the VFW's quartermaster, but he's also
he's the vice chair. He's the vice president for the Purple Heart for Massachusetts.
And we had we are talking to a couple others, the Gold Star Mothers in charge of that, and we're trying to get a lot of different organizations
The
involved.
VSO of Waltham, the Veteran Services officer for Waltham is Mike Russo. He wrote a letter of support also.
He did a fabulous. He was really behind it. He's a good guy. That guy. He's going to help. We're going to work together and do a lot of good things.
I did speak to John Lawn also. He verbally gave me the support. I thought I would have the letter from him by yesterday, but I did not. And with time and everything else, I wasn't able to get it to you guys in time.
Was he going to be on the advisory board, or is Lon on the advisory board, or Mike Russo is on the advisory board, correct? Or not?
No, he's not. Mike Russo is not on the advisory board. We wouldn't mind bringing him on. I think a couple of people had a potential conflict of interest that because of what they do for careers and so forth, but they gave us verbal support and potentially written support as well.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We got Rocky Joyce also. Joel, sorry. I'm so bad right now. I was caught off guard with that question.
I think it would be helpful as part of the packet if you include this, the board, the information about the organization as it's formed, sort of as just to give us some sense of your organization.
Yeah, most definitely. Kind of a profile of each individual. Is that what you're looking for?
I don't know if we need to go that far, but understanding who they are and what their role is good.
Yeah, especially local support.
Yeah.
Local support, not Corin McGinn that doesn't live in Waltham.
He's not a voter.
we only had about.
This has got to pass the council, so
yeah.
They're going to want to see some local support.
Yep, most definitely.
Well, we have Wayne Brasco Sr. He's local support. We have been.
Yes, he is.
We got a van from Central Peter Kent and East gave us a beautiful van, and it's being wrapped right now. You know, he's a great supporter. It's been time. This came down real quick. So a little bit of time that we had, we put together what we needed, and at least to get in front of you, and then we will provide you whatever you need. We have a lot of good people, and we believe that we can provide whatever you need. And we're growing. Every day we grow.
So, yeah, this did come together pretty quicker than we expected. So there was a little bit of scrambling to get you the information that we provided you, and understanding that we didn't provide you some of the information you were looking for, but we will get you what you're asking for.
Great.
I'd also like
The foundation didn't come quickly. I mean, like I said, I have a bill in legislation, and John Lunk, if he can get this through, it's going to be lots of housing out there for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Every 40B, anything low income, veterans is going to get a preference. And we are so close. In the third reading, I met with Mr. DeLeo. I met him for an hour, and he said, we just need to vet this a little bit more. And you know, you get very excited, but once it gets into that situation, it kind of drags a little bit. But I'm looking forward to it. Actually, John and I are going to meet this week again. He's going to tell me where it's going. But this is the situation is that people are going to need to have it now, and we get them ready so that we get them into those places. Even with the affordable, it's not affordable anymore. So we get them into the low income,
Right.
and it'll be like a movement between going from the New England Homes for Veterans or other places, and then getting them into fixed up to get them into the ultimate situation that they have a job and they have a place to live in their community.
Right. Okay. There was a question sent in by someone that's auditing this. And the question was, do you need certification to oversee the house? Which I don't think you do, but I'll let one of you two answer it so we can get that answer. Julie was the one that suggested someone had asked a question. I think it's already been answered, but
Somebody asked if we need a certification for this.
yeah, some kind of.
There's no requirement from the VA to have a certification to have a veteran's house.
Okay, and that was the question, and it's answered. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Any comments?
Yeah, well, let me just say this because it is, you know, that I went through the process in the city council. We had 100%, right? So then, but the council, they don't want to overstep the state. I don't know what the situation. They can't, they can't make a move before the state. So it's been tabled, and it's in limbo, and the state will come up, and then they're going to they'll ratify it in the city of Waltham when the state says it's okay.
Okay.
But I went through everything nice and clean.
Good.
The bill. Yeah. And of course, I've come to you folks, and of course, I've talked to Paul Brasco and a couple of people before I came here. I didn't want to make myself, I know we're light on information here, but the general focus of the whole thing, I believe that we can make it happen and do a good job for everybody. And I think that the general situation that we need it and people want it. So if we can get a little help, and we could do this. This building is just perfect for it. That's the problem. It came up so quick. So here we are. So, but Paul told me that he thinks that we wouldn't. He thinks it's a great idea. I mean, I've been working on this, pushing this stuff for 6 years now, and now it's come to a head. So we'd really like to move it forward because the veterans aren't getting what they need. I'm telling you right now, everybody. I got my blood taken today. I went in. He said, "Oh, you're a veteran." I said, "Yeah, we've started working." What are you laughing for? The nurse says, what do you do? And I said, oh, I got a nonprofit. And she went on and said, how come they don't take care of the veterans the way they should? You know what I mean? I said, I don't know. I'm really working hard to help that situation. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, seriously, this is a good thing. I'll stop. They're laughing at me now, so please don't laugh at me on the board, okay?
Can I just address something that Justin brought up earlier? We can draft up for the board's comfort. We can draft up a clawback provision that provides sort of this idea that the amount of money given will go down over time, so that it zeroes out. But then also put in some sort of provision that gives that if the foundation becomes inoperative, it would give the city the opportunity to have a say in whatever not-for-profit gets this asset from the foundation, if the foundation, and I'll have to think about it, but come up with some sort of criteria for how we define that. But that hopefully will provide the protection that you would like to see. And it's a really good idea to put in there.
Well, we did it before, so I'm sure that shouldn't be that difficult to figure out. It's just a matter of putting our heads together and doing something. Sorry.
Yeah, so we'll draft up some sort of letter of understanding to that effect, and we can amend it to whatever we need to amend it to.
So Justin, I think the point is Corn, being the legal expert that he is, would be able to help draft that write-up,
Okay.
and then obviously with your approval and whatever else, whoever has to
It's
approve
not
it.
so much our approval, it's the law department that's going to get involved in that, to be honest with you, Roland. So,
Okay.
So I'll draft something up simple, and they can do whatever they
Fine.
want to it.
Yep.
Great. Are we ready for a motion?
Sure.
I got a question. How likely is it that you can get extension on this, David?
No, not likely at all.
Not likely?
No, I don't think so. No, I to be honest with you, I don't know. I pushed hard to get where we got. I mean, let me put it this way. If I could get out, if you guys could move me forward and I get to at least I'm to the council, right? When the council, and then I know that I could probably get an extension there. But if I can't get it out of you folks give us permission, and it drags on for a month or so, I'm dead in the water. And then I don't know what happens. It's a negotiation. I thought I did a credible job. I mean, I'm absolutely amazed at what they gave us, and because they have some people that are interested, but to be honest with you, they're about a month out, and the broker on this said, he was actually in the military, in the Air Force, with the founder of New England Homes for Veterans. And so he knows this scenario. So when we talked about it, he said, this is a perfect home. And I said, yeah, okay. So this is why I got all charged up, and I said, let's go for this. What do we got to do? And let's try to get it. And I am very confident that once we get it, that we shouldn't have a problem. I understand what the board has to do, but I do also understand that when we get it, you'll be proud of it. Trust me. And like I said, it'll be open door. You can come in anytime. We want you to do this. We want you to do that. We'll make sure of this, and we'll get plenty of money. That's the lay terms of it all. I don't know how to, I can't spin it any other way, but yeah, I don't know how much time I could get, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The other question
I'm
I
out
have is,
the January 28th, I'm out to now, but I have to have it possibly come out of your committee. How many weeks do I have for that? I think it was 4 or 5 or something, I don't know. Because I had it here, but I don't.
So the 1.5 will cover the purchase price. How much repair work, renovation work will you have to do? You have a dollar figure for that, or some kind of?
You know what it is? The house is beautiful. The kitchen, it's mostly handicap accessible. If we didn't have to do any handicap accessible, we wouldn't do anything. Now, I also want to tell you, there's the sale of this house, right? There is a commission, and it goes right back into the house. So the day we close, we'll have probably $28,000 to $30,000 goes in the house. So based on that, it's operating fees, and that's a no-brainer because that's the way my son and I work together.
This is Dave. Okay,
Yeah.
This is time sensitive, correct?
That's,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me see if what is you made an offer on the house and they've accepted it. What's that dollar figure?
1.4.
1,400,000.
That's it. Yeah. And with it comes the commission of
Now,
28, 30,000, whatever. And when that turns over, it goes right into the foundation.
Okay, fine. Let's work on $1.4 million. Okay. So we work on $1.4 million, and anything else would be above and beyond that. You can do your magic with fundraising. There's no reason that if you want to get this thing underway, maybe we could do a contingency there where you get a pro forma and a business plan to us within the next week.
Absolutely.
So,
I want to hear from the committee.
well,
Go ahead.
Justin, you as chair can call an emergency meeting. So.
Well, I don't want to put anybody, that's why I'm discussing this now, Dan. I understand I can call you, but so if we get it, I guess I'm looking for, when do you want to meet again, or would you be willing to meet again? I guess that's what I'm looking for.
I'd be willing, it's Tommy, I'd be willing to meet, but I mean, if they can put that stuff together within 7 to 10 days, I'm excited about the project. I mean, not many housing projects have come before this board that made a lot of sense, and this does. Unfortunately, time is an essence, and I don't know how long a lot of apartments are going to take with looking over with whatever type of moratorium or some type of a lien that we're going to want to amortize this thing over 30 years or 25 years. So I don't know if we have enough time to do it, but I am very excited about it. I mean, to me, it makes sense, and I'd like to move forward with it. With contingencies.
Yep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Contingencies that's good. If you can get me a little bit moving forward, and we get what you need, Dave, and then we get it in the council. Huh?
I want to hear from the committee. Go ahead, Dan.
Oh,
yeah, I'll just be kind of blunt. I hear everyone, and I hear you said, Tom, and I think other people sounds like this is a project that could work and should work, and it would be great to work. But I really want to see the operating budget before I could vote.
That's what I said.
Part of that continue.
No, see it and then vote after.
Okay. And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
One or two ways to do it. We could do it with a contingency, or we could do it with an emergency meeting. So this is what I'm looking for. Whether you want to do it with the emergency meeting in let's say a week, or let's say today's Tuesday, a week from Thursday, say something like that. I mean,
a week from Thursday, yeah.
But
why wouldn't a contingency work then?
Look,
Why wouldn't a contingency work then?
Well, the contingency basically says all you have to do is produce the operating budget, but it doesn't give you a chance to actually evaluate the contents of the operating budget.
Okay.
And you say, there's a distinction there, and it's kind of important.
So how long do they need? How long, David, how long do you need? Roland, how long do you need? Corinne, how long do you need to put that information?
If you give us a week till Thursday, I think we can probably put that together.
Okay, so we meet 2 weeks from today?
That's fine.
Board agreeable
That
to
would
that?
work.
I'm good.
I'm
With
good.
that. How many
And
people?
we're-
we have?
What's the date? I may be on
It's the
vacation.
it's the 29th.
I'm on vacation.
Where
You
are
know,
you
but
going?
is it gonna be
You
remote?
can Call in, Tommy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is it gonna be remote?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yep, no
just make
worries.
sure you make sure your wife is there.
To hook us up, you weren't kidding. I had 6 people working on this today.
So, all right, that's Dan, Bob, Erica, and we have,
Amanda.
I have
Yeah.
another meeting that night at 7:30.
well, if we have it at 7, we could hopefully go through it, and then if you can't, you could leave early. Would that do it? Can we change it to the,
Move to 6.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can do that if people don't mind.
Yeah. What's the date?
The
29th.
29th.
29.
And they're gonna get us the information by when?
We'll get you the information a week from Thursday, so we'll get it to you
24th.
the 20, what is that, the 23rd or something?
24th.
24th.
Okay.
Well, do we need 5 days to do it, to look at it? Dan, do you need 5 days to look at it if we get it the 24th?
We get it on 24th. I mean, I need at least a day. I might want to have other professionals look it over,
Okay.
you know, that kind of thing. So it's not like one day. So Tuesdays are kind of day. I mean, if you want to do it Monday, we could do it Monday, the 28th.
But that doesn't matter. I mean, that one day I don't think is gonna make
All right.
any difference.
David,
Monday's Yom Kippur holiday. I don't know if
Good
make
point.
to folks.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so forget Monday.
David, have you had any dialogue with the law department? Or Roland or Corinne?
hello?
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear the question. It was broken up.
David, Corinne, or Roland, have you guys had any dialogue with the law department?
Not yet, no,
No.
no. I didn't know we needed it right this moment.
No, you don't.
I thought
No,
you
but
don't.
it would be helpful. You know, I mean, you know, they provide a lot of the frame. You know, the city council defer to them, okay? And so if you could kind of get ahead of the ball on that topic, because that
Is
seems
there
to.
anybody, excuse me, I don't know the lay of the land there, but is there anybody in particular we should talk to?
Well, I could find out for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of the major points where I don't want to say things bog down, but it's, you know, everything in the law, at least to my knowledge, and I'm not a lawyer, but there's a lot of heavy reference to preference, to precedent. And I think, you know, we're kind of out of the water here in terms of, you know, this is a little bit unprecedented, at least in the city. Now, you know, the law department, the first thing they would do is look at other CPC transactions in other communities to look for precedent. And if that precedent doesn't exist, it gets to be entangled.
Yeah, it slows them down for sure.
You know, and that's, I mean, you know, so obviously, you know, this is really, really time sensitive. And so you're trying to look at things where, you know, I know the council will defer to the law department. I mean, we've seen it happen time and time again. That's a major.
That's a good point.
Maybe, you know, if you could give them a name, Justin, or who to talk to, just so they could get preliminary dialogue.
Would it be Stanton?
No, excuse, could I ask, so why would the law department, because we're getting.
Because we're putting some type of a
I was gonna say,
contingency on
because-
a
okay.
amortization on that.
And there's also gonna be I know the house has got a deed restriction on it anyway, but there's gonna be, there's gonna be a restriction on the house, a affordable housing restriction on it once they fund it. So that's gotta come from the law department. That's part of it. But, so the law department is definitely gonna be involved.
No.
And typically they need a lot of time, you know, especially if there's no precedent, there's no direct precedent. It's just, you know, there's that much more, you know, legwork that has to be done. And I'm sure everybody is in favor of this project, you know. And the location, I think is great.
Yeah, it's right by a bus line. It's tremendous.
Is there any way that there is influence within the board or within the city or the city council or whoever it may be to help the law department make this a priority?
Hard to say.
Yeah, very hard to say.
Does the mayor have any say in it at all, or she's not?
Well, it's a good starting point.
That's an excellent starting point.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you know, just the time constraint is really.
Yeah, I mean, I keep looking. I think I have subject to 6 weeks to get it out of you folks, which is a month and 2 weeks. Well, that's easy.
Yeah, but that's
I went to St. Mary's.
But the thing is, no, David, it's because once it goes out of us, it goes to the council, and the council, and the first meeting they assign it to committee. Okay, so there's 2 weeks, and then the committee meets, and if it gets out the first night, it goes back to the council for the next week. Okay, and then, generally in committee, they'll send it to the law department. So that's Bob's sticking point or if it comes out, it's going to get sent to the law department. And the law department could be the kiss of death. So Bob makes a great.
I know. I've been here already. Whenever it comes to a situation like this, it goes into the law department, and it is the kiss of death. I'll tell you the truth.
But that's you know what. But the thing is, we got to get it moving, and maybe we can, if you know the mayor or the mayor's behind it, maybe she can get it. Maybe a couple of people can talk to people and see if they can't get it.
Yeah. Well, what I guess everybody else knows exactly what it is. What I'm saying is that if I know exactly what it is that we're looking for, then I will try to advocate to get there.
No,
I just don't.
No, but you're not the law department. They're the ones that.
I know I'm not. I mean, to get the person to maybe.
What I'm trying to do is get it moved through them as quickly as possible. We don't know what they're going to want.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
All right. And as Bob said, this is new. This is new territory for them.
Well, I will bring up as far as the law aspect that has been an issue for other affordable housing projects where there was a purchase involved, that the law department did not like that it was an organization other than the city owning the property. So that may be still an issue or a sticking point. And Corinne, you need to look at that because that's not how it works in the rest of the state. This has worked before.
I understand. I've already been through. I'm through this with the state.
Okay, but no, wait, hold on.
This is completely different, Dave.
It's a community.
No, I understand the city and the state.
Okay, Corinne.
Yeah.
There's an organization, the Community Preservation Coalition.
Yeah.
The person who runs that knows a lot about all the projects that's gone on in the state, including housing projects, where affordable housing groups that are nonprofits have gotten money to buy property to do affordable housing. So this would be the first one. If this goes through, it'd be the first one, and before it's been tried and it hasn't worked because of the law department. So I'm just giving you some information here.
Okay, we'll do what we have to do. I mean, I did this with the state. I'm still in the state. And I've been in the state for 2 years, so I know that this won't happen, so we'll do what we need to do on this end. But the way it gets bogged down a little bit, and then what happens? The veterans never get anything. That's what happens. So.
Well, we're gonna try to make sure that doesn't happen, but we've got to go one step at a time.
No, I understand. Thank you.
So we'll get you the pro forma, the operating budget. We'll try to push it out for 3 to 7 years.
All right.
We'll get that to you within a week.
Let me get a motion to get, do I hear a motion on this so we can give them exact direction?
Yeah, I'll make that motion, Justin.
Okay.
To get that information by the 24th for everybody to look at for our next meeting for the 29th at 6 p.m.
Okay, we want a pro forma in a operational budget, correct? Anything else? And Dan, you'll have a chance to look at the market analysis. I looked at it today and it looked pretty good. Anybody else with a suggestion?
Just to be clear, your concept is the appraisal they will have to do if we then recommend.
Once it gets to council.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'm just. I
The
just want to
city
make
will
sure
require
we're
that.
clear what about
Absolutely.
process here.
Yep.
I think we also asked for a list of the organization members.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the board and the advisory board members. Okay, there's a motion. Do I hear a second?
What about letters of support? I mean, is that?
Always welcome.
Yeah, well, actually, there was some.
There was a package in there, right?
Yeah, we got a
Yeah,
bunch today, yeah, right.
Yeah, there was Wayne Brasco is in there,
Yeah, there's 3 or 4. I mean,
general, Mike Russo, but the more the merrier is
right,
Erica
but
said.
there's 3 or 4 in there.
Yeah.
Second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
What was that?
Was there any opposed?
No, I guess not, okay.
Okay, all right, okay. Any questions of Dave or Roland or Corin? As far as what you
Nothing right
need?
now. We know what our marching orders are. We're not ready.
Okay,
Well, so Justin, you're going to, sorry, I lost you earlier, Dan, that's why I didn't respond. Justin, you're going to try to get me a name for somebody to talk to at the law department? So we could try to get in front of this?
I'll speak to John Savone. He's the city solicitor and plead our case and see who he would suggest. He's the fellow that heads it. So I will get that hopefully and see if we can't help you there.
Well, maybe he's the one I should talk to.
Well, let me talk to him first, and maybe he'll assign someone else. He's kind of busy too, so
Okay.
correct that your feeling, Bob?
Yeah,
Bob LeBlanc?
yeah, I would start there.
Okay.
And, if David, if you have a good rapport with the mayor, I would definitely, place a call and see if she can maybe.
I will beg for mercy and help. I'll tell you that right now. I'll do whatever I have to do.
Excellent.
Good luck.
Get on my knees. I'll go down to St. Mary's and light some candles. Whatever I gotta do, I'll take.
Excellent.
Okay.
Anything else from you fellas?
Nothing for me
All
right
right.
now.
Okay.
I think
All right.
thank you all for your attention to this.
And the meeting will be, you're going to have it in the 24th. And the meeting will be
29.
Tuesday, the 29th. It's 6 p.m., right?
Yeah.
Yes, right, 6 p.m.
Okay, excellent. Thank everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Should we send that information to Julie?
Yes.
yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Okay,
Good luck.
Thank you.
this is a marathon meeting.
Justin, can we take a
Okay.
5-minute break along those lines?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Meeting's adjourned for 5 minutes.
Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. That one coming up right after this one. Kawhi Leonard has been carrying the Clippers in this series, and not just at the offensive end. Sorry to hear that. Yes.
Oh, everybody back?
I am back.
Okay. Oh, Bobby's not there.
How do I look, Justin? All right?
You sound like your brother. Jesus
As
Christ.
long as I don't look like my brother.
Yeah, that's true.
So how long you been down to Marshfield, you bastard?
What do you mean? When did
Have you
when
been there
did
all
they get out?
summer? Have you been down all summer?
Yeah, we moved down in May.
You got a tough. When I grow up, I want to be just like you.
No, you don't. Trust me.
Power Ranger.
Oh, Bobby, you're unbelievable.
That was good.
It was, yeah. You got it too? Everybody else is back but Bob, right?
No, we just.
Dan, are you there? Nope.
Yes, I'm actually here.
Okay. I just.
Amanda's not back.
Okay. Okay.
This was the longest meeting you've ever chaired, Justin.
Let me tell you something. I was on a meeting before and it was the shortest meeting, Middlesex meeting. Okay.
How long was that?
It was only 40 minutes, I think.
I love it. Those are the ones I like.
Oh, that's the way I generally like it.
Me too.
I thought this was going to be long.
We haven't met since what? February?
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do?
Well, we had the June meeting.
June. And
We did?
Yeah.
Those are quick meetings for the most part.
Right.
Remember June? What did we talk about? Oh, that was the yes, that was the quick one, right?
Right.
I don't think I
That was
attended.
just- No, that was the budget. The April one was
Oh,
the
right.
million dollar.
right. Right. That's right. Time seems to have like compressed in the last 6 months or 9 months. Like, wait a minute, it's still March in my brain.
Yeah.
But hockey started, so there's that.
Oh, yeah.
Some things are normal, sort of.
Are they up at is the rink open?
Yeah,
Oh,
lots
wow.
of new rules. The kids
I'm
can't
sure of
dress. They
that.
can't use the locker rooms. It's one way in. You only go in 5 minutes before your game, and then you got to leave by the side door and take your skates off in the stands. But, I think everybody's playing by the rules because everybody wants to play hockey. So
Find out if my brother started up there yet or not.
I think most teams have started in some fashion.
He's in an adult.
Oh, I don't know about the grown-ups. The kids for sure.
Yeah, this is. Is that? Let's see who we.
I think the board is here.
Is everybody back?
Hmm?
Well, I know the next committee. The next one up is Bob Waters and Jimmy Lacrosse, and I know they're here. If everybody's back, then I'm going to call the meeting back to order. And City of Waltham, the Thompson and McDonald Playground is next up. Bob and Jim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Justin. James is gonna present.
Okay, excellent. Jimmy or James?
Jimmy.
Yeah,
sorry.
Jimmy's fine.
That's fine. Oh, that's what I was going to call you.
Better than Mike. All right, so we're
Okay.
Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, can you hear me all right?
Perfect.
Perfect. All right, so we submitted an application tonight for the reconstruction of 2 playgrounds here in the city of Waltham, both located on the south side. The first one is Thompson Playground, which is on Charles Street. The second one is McDonald Playground, which is located on Cutter Street, which is right off of Newton. Very similar to the improvements we've done across town to the other parks and playgrounds. I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to look through the application that we had submitted, but the improvements will include pretty much a revamp completely, both underground, above ground. Will be new playground areas for both the younger kids and older kids, a fitness area, a splash park at both spots, basketball, and a futsal combination court. For those of you who have never witnessed one, we have one over at Gilmore Playground. So we're gonna try to match that, which has been a huge success on the south side of Waltham. There'll be a zip line, a series of shade shelters, and then your typical site furnishings and plantings. This work again will include underground repairs to all the utilities for both water, sewer, and we're coming to you tonight before you to request a total of $3.2 million, which is based off of estimates we received from the designer. I do want to mention that this is a federally funded project through our CDBG program. So the designer that we've hired, which we did that back in 2018, has been funded with all block grant money, and we will be putting a portion of our block grant money that's been set aside to supplement this. We just don't have enough to build both of these parks. As far as the design process, we're about 80% in to final construction documents. They do need to go through departmental review, which is in the works right now, according to the Recreation Department, in the hopes of getting before the Recreation Board next month for us to then go to bid and hire a contractor. And that's
All right. The question, it looks like you're asking for $2,811,096.79. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the total for the project, so the total for the project is 3.246, but you're asking for 2.8, right?
Correct.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Well, that was my question. So the city's putting in the difference between the 2.8 and the 3.2?
That's correct. We have about 435,000 in block grant money right now.
Okay, now, I haven't spoken to Paul Santafanti on this as yet, or Tom Magno, but if we approve it, we're not gonna have the funding for it until November sometime. So what my thought is on this would be to put it in queue, somehow earmark money coming in for it. That would be, that's, and again, I'd have to get clarification from the auditor and the treasurer probably, just to let you know. Everybody, the board know too. So, any questions from the board?
Yeah, what's the time frame for start of construction?
So we won't get out to bid till probably, again, November. It won't be a construction until the spring unless we have an unbelievable winter that's going to come in and allow us for construction, but it'll most likely start in the spring of 2021. Excuse me.
So that kind of works with the financial time frame.
Yeah, it works fine.
Justin, if I can say something, the mayor was saying today that it's their intention to bid this project, bid both parks together in an effort.
Well, that's fine, Bob. I think what we would do, and I can understand that, is we would, if we pass it and if we recommend it to the council and we don't have the money, we would earmark the money coming in for it. So it would be a combined project. It would be for the 2.8 or $2,811,096.79.
Excellent, okay.
Perfect.
All right, so
I
that's
missed what Bobby said. Justin?
What?
I missed what Bobby said. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I just said, you know, it's the mayor's intention to bid both of these parks at the same time. It's not really
Not-
fun, but in an effort to get a better price.
Not
Okay.
splitting them, Tommy.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Dan,
Yep.
you look like you had a question.
Yes, so my memory, I don't remember approving stuff where we haven't had the funds. Have we done that before?
We have not. That's why I've got that's why I've got to check with I mean, we could certainly bid it, but they can't spend the money if we don't have it anyway. So
Oh, well,
they're not going out to bid until November. So we get the money. We've got approximately 3.2 million coming in. And we've also got, which I'm going to get after this, I'll give a wrap up, or Julie actually will give a wrap up of incoming monies that we've got. Like I will say the Leland Home money is coming back into the,
Oh, right.
I signed that. So that will be back in, I think it's, I can't remember exactly how much money it is.
It's $627,539.
So that will go back in to the fund. So anyway, that's just to let you know, and we'll go into the monies at the end of the meeting.
It's just as far as process that you're suggesting that we earmark.
Correct. That's
incoming.
exactly it. So it doesn't get spent. So okay, that's all that would be.
Okay. Cool.
Would we
All
vote
right.
tonight or would we wait to vote till we get the money?
I think I would vote tonight just to earmark the money coming in. So when it comes in, it goes to that. So they can go out, if the council approves it, when the money's there, they'll be able to go to
go to bid.
Exactly.
Right.
Or they can go to
They
bid
have to have the
before.
money
Exactly.
accounted
Exactly.
for, right?
Right.
Okay. I mean, I don't have
Anything
any
else?
problems. I have no questions about the projects. They look great. We support this kind of stuff and I have no
Okay.
concerns about it. So
I have one question.
Justin,
Jack. I want to know that the green building over on Carter Street.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't they use that to vote?
Yes.
And is that building going to stay, or is it going to be just as ugly as ever?
No, that's gonna stay. There's talk about, painting it a better color to blend in. a
That
little
would
bit.
be, yeah, I mean,
How about a mural? Can we get a
Yeah.
nice mural on there?
yeah, something on there. I mean, it looks like it should be a jail. Okay, if any other questions, any questions from the off committee?
Yeah, Justin, one quick question though. What would be the difference between this one and the Korean church where we didn't vote to allocate the money there and we just went on the assumption that the money will be there?
I don't quite
Like
understand.
we didn't allocate the money for the Korean church. And we would do that at a later date. Is it only because there's something outstanding on that end?
Well, listen,
We're just waiting.
well, to start off with, the Korean church may not make it, okay? That's the reason for that. We had the money. For
That's
the
what I
Korean
was asking,
church.
yeah.
We have the
Okay,
money
that's
for
what
the Korean church. I mean, that was only 148,000. This is 2.8. So,
Right.
so the
So,
reason
that's what I
we didn't do the Korean church is, again, it may not make it,
Yeah, okay, I got it.
okay?
And just in that same theme, we did recommend for funding the Stonehurst for 750 K.
Which we have.
Which we have.
Which we have,
That's-
yeah.
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 Yep.
Cool.
All right. Anything else?
Oops.
Did I hear a ding? Is that,
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
okay? Well,
I
if
mean,
that's
your
the
time's
case,
up. It's time to go to bed.
yeah. If that's the case, then I would look for a motion.
I move to support the city of Waltham, city of Framingham. Sorry. It's been a long few months.
If we can get them to pay, that's great.
No, we're not supporting their parks. I do that in my day job. Support the city of Waltham's proposal to spend 2.8 million, $11,096.79 for Thompson Park and McDonald Playground, Thompson Playground and McDonald Playground.
Do I hear a second?
You got it.
Okay.
Thomas J.
Okay, no discussion, or with no discussion, then I will take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. With that, let me just look at my agenda here, and I know I've got.
Justin,
Go
do we
ahead.
need any special language about understanding that we don't have the funds in hand, that we're earmarking this?
I'm gonna call Paul Santafanti tomorrow morning, or Tom Magno, and find out exactly. I don't think so, because they can't spend it. But I do want them to know. I want the council to know that the money isn't there, but it will be, because again, we've got 3.2 million coming in from the tax revenue for the 2021 budget. And we've also got the state match, which this year, according to I don't know if anybody saw the coalition, is going to be between 20 and 25%.
Excellent.
And we've also got, Julie is going to get into monies that we also have coming back too. So I'll take care, I'll call Santafanti and Tom Magno tomorrow, so they know ahead of time that when the council, it's got to go to committee anyway, so we're still 2 to 3 weeks away for that going.
So
to
if we
council.
had to vote again officially to get a different language, we have a meeting in 2 weeks anyway. I just want to make sure that they know that we're not making decisions, without respect to the actual money that we control.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Yeah. Thank you, Erica.
Connie won't move a contract.
Okay, so that is, I saw all in favor, it's done, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that's cleared, and I will call the city tomorrow. The next on the thing is the watch survey. I don't know if anybody read it over. I did, and it was interesting.
They're going to come in October.
Okay, well,
They decided
Did
not
any-
to come
if-
tonight.
Okay.
okay.
It's okay. We don't have a.
I mean, it looks to me like it's an $11 million project, and I'm not sure that for the money, it's worthwhile, to be quite honest with you. That would be anybody else got a comment on it? I mean,
I haven't read it yet.
I haven't seen it, yeah.
it
When did
came-
we get it, Justin?
Oh, a month or more ago.
Julie?
Oh,
It was over a month ago. It's
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, okay.
Election of officers. Okay. Julie, I'm gonna let you handle this.
Oh no, Bill. Can you walk me through this again?
So we're up for new officers. Then there needs to be nominations. Does anyone want to nominate anybody or themselves?
Nominate Justin, unless anybody else wants to be chair.
So actually, what are the positions? There's chair, secretary, and
Clerk.
Vice chair.
Vice chair, vice chair, and clerk.
Clerk.
so
I
that's-
nominate Dan to be clerk.
Oh,
I nominate Justin to stay as chairman.
I nominate Eric.
What are who is in the
Vice chair.
positions now? Who are in the positions now?
The
Justin-
people who got volunteer, just got nominated.
Dan's clerk.
Yeah.
Who's in the third position?
I'm the
Eric
vice
is
chair.
vice chair.
You're vice chair. I nominate that panel for another year.
Second.
All in favor?
Do you guys accept the nomination?
Yes.
So
Sure.
there's something is coming back to me that I thought we might have to do a roll call vote on this for every instead of.
Yeah, we do. We was supposed to, yes.
Yeah, thank you for, all right, so every person has to call out whether yes or no independently. So are we ready for that? Is there any other nominations or no? Is that it?
Are those the only positions?
So you don't have to do a roll call then.
Yeah, I think we still do.
Just do it. Can't
Yeah, I'll
hurt.
just do it.
Okay,
Okay,
go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, let's do it. Just do it for the whole panel. I mean, you guys will be
Yeah,
voting
you're right, yeah.
to some degree,
Okay,
but that's fine.
Sean, are you still there, Sean?
I think so.
And my answer is yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, so yay for Sean. Amanda,
Yay.
Bob LeBlanc,
Yay.
Bill Doyle,
Yes.
Tom Carante,
Yes.
Dan Milchuk, yeah. Erica
Yes.
and Justin.
Sure.
All right, boy. We're easy, huh? Pushovers.
We still have more to go, so
No!
actually, we'll make it short. Julie, you want to do the update on the finances, please?
Sure. So I called auditing and we have another 2 million coming in in November. So there's 1.5 million from investment income, 167,000 for the revenue surplus, which was over the 3 million estimated for fiscal year 21. And then we got that extra state surplus in January, and that was $296,739.
That is above and beyond what we're going to get from the tax revenue, which is, I spoke to Tom Magno, and he estimates it to be someplace around 3.2, and that should be sometime in November,
So
Okay.
where does that bring us to? 6 million or so?
approximately, yeah.
Right, that's what it looks like.
That's about right, yeah.
Plus the 700,000 from the Leland home?
Well, it's 627.
627.
Plus the
Well,
600,000.
That's good. That's in our budget. That's in there right now. So
That's already in there.
We've already asked, yeah, I believe so, right,
It's being
Julie?
transferred now. It'll be there by the
Yeah,
next meeting.
it's in our regular, it's in our regular budget right now. It should be.
All right,
I
and-
signed it last week.
All right, so out of the approximately 6 mil, we have recommended 3/4 for Stonehurst. So we have over 5.
But Dan, that can come out of our regular. We've got money in there for that right now.
Oh, in
That
historic?
yeah, that, I believe so, or general.
Oh, general, okay. Oh, I see. This
so-
is all, oh, these are all numbers.
This is increased revenue.
Oh, so what, oh, I'm
Money
sorry.
We're going to get
Oh, how much, so how are we, where are we standing?
about 2 million.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, 2 million, we're adding about almost 6. Okay, got
Yeah.
it. All right,
Okay,
So we're gonna be at 8 million.
approximately.
okay, cool.
Oh.
All righty.
So every 3 years, we can buy another $15 million farm. Is that
There
what
you
you're
go.
saying?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Pretty
excellent.
much.
That money still hasn't gone yet.
I'm
yeah,
sure.
Just to let you know.
Good, right, so that's the old business that's coming up. Oh, no, it's next meeting date.
Right,
Okay.
and that is going to be the 29th.
Yeah, is that, we're not calling that a special, we're just calling that the next
Well, it's a
meeting?
meeting, call whatever you want. It's the next time we're gonna meet.
Okay,
How
Okay,
about
and then
October?
The meeting after that, Julie, what did we say? The 15th of October?
I think the 13th.
The 13th, I'm sorry.
It was scheduled for the 6th, but I think you wanted to move it a week out.
Correct. Well, actually, either that or even longer, especially if we're gonna have one the 29th.
right.
Does the 20th work for everyone?
Checking calendar.
Actually, my birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
Never mind.
To.
Well, if it's your if you're going out to dinner or something, or where are you going to dinner? The
But you don't
backyard?
need me. I don't know yet. That's like, I don't know what I'm gonna have for dinner tomorrow. Like, what do you mean? That's October. I don't know.
Whatever works. Either one will work for me. So Bob.
I can do the
or
13th.
Dan,
I mean, the 13th is fine if that gives Julie enough time to turn around. I mean, staff. I
Julie.
understand. I know what
That's
this is
fine
like
with
at your
me.
end, Julie.
I'm okay with that.
Incidentally, Julie is unbelievable to work with. It's a joy.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
thank you.
I'll second that emotion.
Thank you.
So as it would be, the 13th is my birthday, so.
Oh, my
Oh.
God. Wait, all right, so how about, let's move it, since we're moving to
I
the
don't mind, it's okay.
end of September, the 29th, we could just go to October 27th.
That works.
That'll be fine.
October 27th?
Yeah, that works.
All right,
I'm good.
okay. Hey, yeah, all right.
No birthdays? I'm shocked.
Great. It's in my calendar now. I can't claim I didn't know.
Yeah, right.
Okay, anything else? I
Motion to
think that is
adjourn.
it. I
Second.
everybody, I'm sorry it went so long. It was good, and I will see everybody on the 29th to get the veterans done. And thank you again, Julie. Thank you, and I'll see you all. Dan, thank you very much for the whatever the hell we're on, the Zoom.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you for setting it up. Always.
my pleasure. And
All right.
on YouTube, remember, this is a public meeting, we're on YouTube, so.
All right, well,
Nope.
motion to adjourn. Do I hear that?
Second.
Yeah, Bob made it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bob made it and I
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks again, folks.
Thank
you.
Thank you all.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Thanks, Julie. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, Justin.
Take care.
Good luck
Thanks
at school
again.
tomorrow, Erica. Your kids.
Oh.